Hello, NBA fans. It's Trish at Blazing Hoops here with tonight's NBA picks for Wednesday, January 23rd, as well as the game of the day. First up, we have the Toronto Raptors traveling to Indiana to take on the Pacers. Toronto played last night, so they're tired and they traveled either last night or today. And I do think they're going to win this game. I think they're the stronger team, and they do win away games more than they lose them. And I always say that teams that get to the championships are the teams that win away games. It could really go either way, but I'm thinking Toronto's going to take this by one. I wouldn't bet on this game. Next up, another game I would not bet on. I think Boston's going to take this and by quite a large point spread, but I think it's too risky to bet on having them have to cover a spread of 16 points. So I'd stay away from that one. Next up, we have the Orlando Magic traveling to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. I think this is probably a real easy win for Brooklyn, and I think they'll take it by at least 9 points. Then there's the Houston Rockets traveling to New York to take on the Knicks. I think this is a real easy win for Houston. I expect them to win it by at least 10 points. My prediction is that they win by 13. Next up tonight, the LA Clippers travel to Miami to take on the Heat. This game is interesting because neither team is playing at their best right now. This one could go either way. I am a Miami fan. I live in South Florida, so I'm definitely a Heat fan. But I don't know about this game. I'm predicting the Heat will win, but I think it's too close to bet. Then next up, the game of the day, the San Antonio Spurs travel to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. I'm shocked this point spread's so low and for the odds, and that's why this is the game of the day. I think this is a real easy win for Philadelphia. They're 20-5 at home, so they're exceptionally strong and dominant at home, and I don't think there's any way San Antonio has a chance here. Predicting that Philadelphia is going to take this by 11 points. Next up, the Detroit Pistons travel south to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. I think that this game is easily New Orleans. Detroit is not playing well right now, and they are one of my favorite teams, so it's very disappointing, but I think New Orleans has this at home very easily. Next up, interesting matchup that the point spread's even favoring Chicago, but the Atlanta Hawks at the Chicago Bulls, and the point spread looks that way because Chicago's at home, but you know, their spots are at the bottom. It's Cleveland, then Chicago, then Atlanta. But Atlanta wins 30% of their games and Chicago wins like 20% of theirs. So I'm pretty sure the Hawks will pull this off tonight and win by well more than 2 points. Next up, the Charlotte Hornets travel to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. This game is really close with the odds, but I think this is a really easy win for Charlotte, even though it's an away game for them. They're well rested, and I think they take this quite easily with a good point spread. Next up is a game I recommend staying way away from because you just don't know what's going to happen. Denver and Utah are both playing well. Denver's 7-3 in their last 10. The Jazz are 8-2, I believe. This one could really go either way. I'm going to say that Denver's going to take this because, you know, they're going to want to catch Golden State for number one, so they're going to be upping their game right now. I would go with Denver, but I wouldn't bet on this game because it's too unpredictable to call. With the Jazz being at home, you know, they are favored to win as the home team. And remember, the home teams win about 70 to 75% of the time over the course of the entire season. But with this game, I would just stay away from betting it, and I'll just look at the score as a fan. Next, these are the last two games of the night. There's 10 games total. But I'm going to go into, I've had like a really good start to the week on my picks, so I'm going to go into that for a couple minutes. So on Monday the 21st, the Martin Luther King holiday, there were 11 games. And I suggested betting on 5 of them. So out of the 5 that I was comfortable wagering, 4 of the 5 won for 80%, which is awesome. And then overall, on everything that I picked, 7 out of 11 of my picks won, so 63.6%. So still, if you bet all 11 games, you know, and you based it on my picks, you didn't win a lot of money, but you still won. So that's good. But those, I put a lot of thought into those games that I highlight in purple, because stay away, and that's telling you stay away from it. Like, there's no way I'd bet that game, because it's just really too close to call and unpredictable. So the only real surprise here for me was the game that I suggested to bet on that didn't go the way I thought it would, was the Dallas-Milwaukee game. I thought Milwaukee would definitely cover this point spread, and they got close, but they didn't cover it. They were 2 points short of covering. So, you know, that's going to happen sometimes. Those are the first 6 games, and then we'll look at the next 5. So my big goal is to always have my game of the day pick be a winner, to be 100% on that. And today it happened with the Houston Rockets at the Philadelphia 76ers, and Philadelphia defeating the spread by a very large margin. So that was great. So if you bet on that, congratulations. Yeah, and then the rest of the games, it's not surprising to me that, you know, I didn't pick these West Coast games, right? There's just, the competition out there right now is heated and heavy. So those games were good suggestions to stay away from, I think. And then we'll go into Tuesday, which was such a good day. So this is the first time since I started Blazing Hoops a couple weeks ago that I have 100% day for all the picks. I think I had 100% day on orange picks one other time, but this was exactly how I picked it. And like, even more than that, like, it just gave me so much confidence, because these games I have lightning bolts next to, I predicted the point spread exactly how the point spread ended up happening. With this Sacramento-Toronto game, I predicted Toronto to take this by 15, and they took it by exactly 15. That was the game of the day, so if you bet on that, congratulations. And then the Trailblazers-Oklahoma City game, I predicted Oklahoma City to win by 9, and they did. I had to look at these numbers like 4 times to make sure that, like, they were correct and accurate, and they were actually exactly what I picked. So that was really, like, satisfying, I guess I could say. It was amazing. And then the LA Clippers Dallas Mavericks game, I would pick that with Dallas. I said to stay away from it because, you know, the point spread was close and the teams are pretty competitive. But Dallas is so dominant at home that was what my choice was. And they won, so that's great. And then I knew Minnesota, well, I didn't know for sure, but like, I was like, let's say 98.9% confident that Minnesota wasn't going to lose twice to Phoenix, that they were going to up their game, and they did. They won this by a great margin. So my first 100% day on all the picks, and I really care about the orange picks. I don't, you know, the purple picks are just kind of like a sign for all of you wonderful viewers out there. Like, I would recommend staying away from this game, really. So, I mean, I count it and say what my overall picks were, as far as you know, what was the percentage of wins versus losses. But I don't, personally, I don't really care about that. What I care about are the orange picks, because those are the games that I would actually bet on, and that I would actually recommend people bet on. I don't think betting on every game in the NBA is a strategy that is going to make you money over time. So you have to pick and choose which games are most likely to give you a winning bet. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know some people like to look at the results and some don't, and that's okay either way. But thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And if you like this, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Thank you.